And now, so it goes without saying that the smallest of things can have the biggest impact on your experience as a PC gamer. And today in this video, or in this review video, that comes in the form of the RAZER BASILISK V3. The RAZER BASILISK V3, or the RBV3, so we're gonna call it here going forward, but the RAZER BASILISK V3 was released back in September of 2021, so it's about 3 years old now, and can be found for or around a little under 50 USD over on Amazon or similar retailers and or e-tailers. But this lightweight, heavy-hitting, feature-written mouse comes packed with more than just its $50 premium. And after glorifying the mouse or its box contents, because I will say Razer does have some pretty neat looking packaging on their products or their peripherals, but after essentially getting over that phase of using this mouse, I jumped right into the unboxing and cut it open, and that was it. There was literally nothing else in the box, just the mouse and, well, nothing else really important, just the gaming mouse. But after that initial shock subsided, I feverishly looked over the RBV3 and must say I was impressed with its overall weight and shape. The RBV3 has this ergonomic mesh on the side that serves as a thumb rest, so it should be comfortable for those with large size hands like myself. And even if your hands are a little smaller, it should be easy to get a firm grip on the mouse. The RBV3 also has Generation 2 mouse switches for speed and reliability. This also helps with reduction in misclicks. This is sometimes or frequently often an issue for myself because I have such big hands. When I'm using the mouse, sometimes I'll hit the buttons and it'll send either the website back or forward or whatever's going on, like within the editing program I'm using or even the video game. So I'm really looking forward to putting that feature to the test. But those Generation 2 mouse switches just essentially helps with providing crisp and responsive executions. The RBV3 also has limitless configuration options with 10+1 programmable buttons to really dial in those settings in your games. The RBV3 has a 26,000 DPI sensor, which has features in and of itself like movement tracking and crisp response and precise accuracy. And then one of my favorite features on the RB3 so far is this switch right here, which can be toggled back and forth to set it to either a free spin or like a smart mouse scroll with the press of a button. And then it also has this really satisfying sound. And then the RBV3 has this hard to miss, but why would you want to, glorious RGB underglow and lighting zones, which you can customize with over 16.8 million colors and countless lighting effects. That's also integrated with about 150 games. The RBV3 measures in at about 3 inches wide or 5 inches long and 2 inches deep, weighs about 3.56 ounces, which is comparable to about a deck of cards. And now it does appear to be a little big in size, but actually, compared to a deck of cards, it feels about the same, like it's pretty lightweight. But after being awed by the RBV3's muted but very sleek appearance, I went ahead and plugged it into the test bed here and fired up the desktop and just kind of use it, just clicking different applications and opening up different files and everything. I mean, it moved or just it glided effortlessly here on my nylon mouse pad. The software was loaded with many different features for you to adjust the mouse or really customize the RBV3. You can do things like adjust your DPI settings, which has this really neat feature that as you're clicking back and forth here on this button on the RBV3 that changes your DPI settings, it appears down at the bottom right hand corner of your monitor. It only does this though when you're on a desktop and not necessarily when you're in the game. I tested that here and we'll get to that in a few seconds. You could also program your buttons so you can take advantage of different like hotkeys in your games or software or other applications that you may use. You can also do things like adjust your mouse scroll speed if it's too slow or too fast for you. And then of course you have the different RGB lighting and effects you could choose from to maybe customize your gaming mouse or unify your whole entire setup, or perhaps you have other Razer products you kind of want to synchronize across your whole entire setup. But yeah, the free Razer software Synapse, super easy to use and super easy to download. I'll also leave a link down in the description box below if you're interested and give it a shot, or if you already have a Razer product and you weren't quite aware of it, how you could fully unlock and tap into the potential of your peripheral. Very similar to what you can do here with the RBV3 or the RAZER BASILISK V3. Once connected and you have your profile set up, you're good to go. And that's exactly what I did here with the RBV3, I fired up Call of Duty Warzone and just toggled between different DPI settings. And again, the mouse, the weight of the RBV3 did not affect its mobility or its response while on the desktop and while I was gaming and playing Call of Duty Warzone. The different DPI settings allowed me to adapt to the scenario or whatever the situation was going on in Call of Duty Warzone. I'm pretty vanilla or pretty new when it comes to playing Warzone and games similar to it, so I like a tight, crisp kind of mouse feel when I'm playing those kind of games to just help me control, say, my accuracy and my movement on the map. And as I'm playing Call of Duty Warzone, I feel like the gaming mouse is actually helping me be just a little bit more confident, not necessarily competitive, but gaming on the RBV3 helped boost my confidence in Warzone. So that's saying something there if you're a competitive gamer and you're looking for a mouse to level up your competitive edge, say playing Call of Duty Warzone or even CSGO. So yeah, I played Fortnite also while testing out the RBV3 just to check to see how it maneuvered over in that game. And once again, I think that using the RBV3 boosted my confidence in Fortnite, making me just a better player. Again, the RBV3 just glides smoothly across the surface, and I'm using a nylon mouse pad. But in Fortnite, the menu, scrolling through the different menus and just running and toggling with my accuracy, it also helped improve just switching back and forth between the different DPI settings. Somewhere between 8 to 1600 is where I like to be at, somewhere in between there. Your range may vary, but again, the RBV3 allows you to really dial in your DPI settings using the software. And while I didn't bother with setting up the different programmable buttons, you can really tap into and customize your desktop and your gaming experience. It just didn't suit my play style or even my how I use different applications and things, but it is there for you to use, and the Razer Synapse software makes it super easy to set up. But one feature I definitely would recommend you consider using is that hot switch for the mouse scroll button. I also must say I fully took advantage of the RGB feature here on the RAZER BASILISK V3. I think it's some of the best looking RGB on the peripheral so far I reviewed here on this channel. Even as you can see here in the dark, the way it illuminates the surface area that you're playing on or your mouse pad, especially if you have an RGB mouse pad, this can really complement your setup. Now, the RGB is a definite win here for me. I think it's, again, some of the best RGB I've seen. Also, not even in the dark, even when it's just being used in the light. I think the RGB looked really good, looked mint. All right, and now what would I rate the RBV3, the RAZER BASILISK V3? Let's start with a few of its pros. The Razer software Synapse really enhances the user experience, regardless if you're gaming or into other different tasks like editing music or video. But the Razer software really helps you unlock the potential of this peripheral, and once you take advantage of the software, you can customize an experience that is really tailor-made for you. And then there's the RGB. The RGB is bright and dynamic, looks good in the dark, and of course it boosts your FPS by at least 10. The RBV3 is also ergonomically sound, fits square in my hand. There was a noticeable dip in misclicks on my part. I really didn't notice any misclicks at all while using this gaming mouse while just browsing the internet or surfing the web. That's old school term for you there. But even while I'm gaming too, I had no experience of misclicks. And then the mouse scroll feature, and while not new, feels so satisfying on the BV3. It really gives you this feeling of having control of your experience on your PC. And then the cons, while not many, the RBV3 does have some. The price is definitely on the premium side. All things considered, some of the features you can find on lower price units, like the Razer Depth Adder, for example. But really, what else can I say about the RAZER BASILISK V3? It functions as good as it looks. It's balanced in weight and sides, gliding effortlessly across the mouse pad, and it handles well, about as well as you come to expect with a unit in this price category. But the RAZER BASILISK V3 checks off more boxes than it shouldn't, which officially I'm rating the RAZER BASILISK V3, giving it a B+ rating. It gets a high pass from me. Go ahead and pick it up, especially if you are looking to upgrade the gaming mouse you currently have, or you're planning to build a new gaming system here in the near future. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. It's been your boy Lab. If you're interested in picking up the RAZER BASILISK V3 and you're interested in downloading the RAZER Synapses software, I will leave both links down in the description box below, along with additional content. And if you haven't yet, hit the like button for me on this video. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button for me with the notification bell turned on. I hit a wall, and with your help, we could break through it. I do hope to catch you all in the next one. So until then, be easy.